2K Sports. Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It'll be the Toronto Raptors facing off against the New York Knicks. And now, time for the call by Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, and Clark Kellogg from New York City as they get ready for the opener.
And moments ago, the national anthem and the mental preparation for the game ahead. Welcome, everyone. Let's get ready for some NBA basketball on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. And joining us a bit later from the sidelines, Doris Burke. Now a chance to check out our starting lineups. First for Toronto, Lowry and DeRozan. They're the backcourt. And at the 5, the 5th overall pick in the 2011 draft, a fleet-footed 6'11" big man out of Lithuania, Jonas Valanciunas. Then there's Rudy Gay, and it's Johnson in at the 4-man position. And for New York, Felton is out there with Tracy McGrady. And in the middle, out of Norfolk State, a solid 6'10" big man with a 7'5" wingspan, Kyle O'Quinn. Then it's Damian James, and it's Martin in at the 4 slot.
You know, after the Rudy Gay trade sent Jose Calderon, Kyle Lowry said that now the Raptors were his team. And while that might be debatable, he's clearly got the talent to run a team at the point guard position.
Good work defensively by Martin.
Well defended, and he's not someone who responds well to that kind of defensive pressure.
Took him no time at all on that one. Felton has got 5.
You know, size-wise, this is not a... great one-on-one matchup for him, but he got that shot to go.
But you wouldn't know about how he finished. That's a nice hoop there.
A rebound by Johnson. Back to Kyle Lowry, a good passer, also an amazing rebounder for us.
He's taking that.
Doesn't mind throwing his weight around.
Don't let him get a rebound. You got it.
He can't get anything to go. Well, they needed that one finally. That's just 1 of 5 now overall.
The Knicks have gone 2 for 4 from the field so far today. Here's McGrady, and off the front iron, and it goes. McGrady's got his first basket. The Raptors have gone just 1 for 5 from the field to start the quarter.
After a big improvement defensively in 11-12, the Raptors took a step back in that department last year. With all the moving parts, young players they added, and gelling that had to be done, you could see why that would have been the case. Excellent communication on the inbound play there, guys. He got in a good position, and the pass was as it needed to be, on time and on target.
And Lowry gets it to go.
I like the offensive awareness to exploit that lack of coverage on that play.
Well, we do know young teams struggle with D, as you were talking about, Clark, and the Raptors definitely fell into that category last season. Some athletic players for sure, and, you know, they could get better this year and beyond, Steve, if they work as a unit. Of course, that'll be the key.
Yeah, they weren't bad by any means last season. I mean, they would end up near the middle or at least bottom third of every big defensive stat, but you know, they made some strides, and I think this year they have to take that next step, and they've got to continue to build on what they have.
And that one's good.
And that assist earned him a little nod from his teammate after the basket.
Now let's find out what head coach Mike Woodson had to say to Doris Burke. Doris?
And he said a big factor in this game will be how well they're able to handle Kyle Lowry. He admitted being a fan of his game, saying he's a tough athletic guard who really competes. Defense, rebounding, attack the paint, he'll take it to you. We've got to be ready to match his motor and his aggressiveness. Kevin, are they up to it?
Thanks, Doris. And he uses the glass on the layup. Lowry's got 7 points.
Yeah, beautiful drive there, going right around the bigger man.
Felton can't get it to go.
What's interesting for me to watch with Mike Woodson as head coach in New York is the exciting floor spacing offense they started playing last season. In Atlanta, he'd been known for a grinded out isolation play style, but has actually tweaked his approach a little bit, and that's been impressive.
A nice piece of work there. Find a little space and pull the trigger.
Toronto trailing. Lowry for three. And again, Toronto with the triple.
He has really put his foot on the pedal this quarter, doing a tremendous job leading their offense.
And back to Mike Woodson, not a flashier, high-maintenance type of personality. He keeps it on the level, and I think, Steve, the players appreciate that.
Players definitely like that. He's very quiet on the sidelines, but not afraid to get in your face when necessary. And I think that's a really good temperament for a coach to have. In general, I think he's a guy who is very well respected around the league and did an excellent job with New York a season ago.
Fades away. And good on the basket. Book it. Lowry's got 17.
I don't think they can ask much more of him than what he's done this quarter.
And Toronto will go for a different look here. Aaron Gray, he's checked in for Jonas Valanciunas. Hansbrough comes in for Amir Johnson. Landry Fields checking in for Rudy Gay. And Terrence Ross is subbed in for DeMar DeRozan.
In this quarter, he's really been off the mark. He just looks a little bit unsettled.
Landry Fields, who last season signed a nice big 3-year contract with the Raptors, but suffered an elbow injury and missed more than a month, and really struggled with his shooting in his return. That's something that he brought to the table as a Knick, and the Raptors were counting on. They're hoping that he can bounce back and be the player he was 2 years ago.
Deflects the pass. Passes to Felton. There's 39 seconds left in the first quarter of the game. That's good. And the silver lining when you talk about Fields shooting, that's never been the strength of his game.
No, he's more of a complimentary player, an excellent rebounder as a wing, smart defender, can guard multiple positions. He just kind of knows how to play and knows how to contribute to a team.
Steve, they've come out with a take-no-prisoners approach on the glass today.
Yeah, it's impressive, too. Clark's already gotten them a +5 margin in the rebound column.
DJ Augustine's checked in for Toronto. About 3 seconds between shot and game clock. And it's out of bounds. The Knicks will take it the other way.
Boy, just a brain cramp, guys. I mean, that should have been the simplest of exchanges.
Knicks trailed by 4. For 3, Udrich. The rebound by Hansbrough. Augustine against Bargnani. Another shot over world peace. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Obvious foul.
Yeah, he took a hit right there and earned those free throws.
Toronto shooting their initial free throws of the game right here.
Well, this is a good free throw shooting team a year ago. They hit about 79% of their free throws as a unit.
And you know, a lot of times, guys, in some of their performances last year, their free throw numbers helped them win games.
And a high-scoring first. And so far, it's been a closely contested game as we get the second quarter up and going. And from what we've seen so far from the Raptors, guys, your thoughts?
And I like what they've done offensively, really attacking the rim, getting a lot of points in the paint.
And, guys, they've been the aggressor early. I mean, attacking the hoop and getting into the paint, that can make the game really easy for you. You know, the Knicks got off to a fast start, but when you employ as many old bodies as they did last year, it's hard to sustain the level of play you need over the course of a full season. It's one reason they started to falter a bit late in the year.
Let's go to our sideline reporter, Doris Burdick. Doris, what do you have?
Gentlemen, as you know, Kyle Lowry was a former late first-round pick. Over his career, he's had to battle for his minutes, but it seems he's solidified his starting role with the Raptors, saying, quote, "I think I've broken into that second tier, and I'm trying to break into that first tier. I believe in myself. I believe in the work I put in every year. I'm not going to give myself a ceiling. Given opportunity, I will produce." And guys, he's shown he can score, pass, rebound, and defend. A lot to like.
Thanks, Doris.
Tremendous dedication to the game. It's great to remember just how far he's come.
And Clark, you said it, the Knicks did hit that lull last season right after the All-Star break into early March. But Steve, when the vets saw the finish line in sight, they picked up their play and got back in it.
That's right. They won 13 games in a row late in the season, catapulting themselves back into the top tier of teams in the East, and let everyone know that they would not be exiting the playoffs early. That really was the start of that run.
Jonas Valanciunas, he's checked in for Aaron Gray. Here's Augustine. He trains the quick shot. Augustine's got 4 points this quarter. New York's gone 4-6 from outside the arc tonight. Here's Felton. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot two.
In his return to New York, I tell you, Raymond Felton looked to have his best season yet as a pro. He came in and made plays and filled the void left at the point guard spot for the Knicks.
And for Felton, I guess just something in the water in New York, huh, Stevie? He's played his best basketball in the big city.
Yeah, he had a good run there several years back before he was traded to Denver as part of that Carmelo Anthony trade. And now that he's back in New York, Felton once again having a terrific impact on that team.
And the shot is good. Augustine's got 8 points.
Well, it looks like he's finally found his footing in this game. His first quarter was a real struggle, but he's got it going now.
And look at how the hustle game has been going for the Knicks.
Well, Kevin, in the first half of play, they're really closing out aggressively, blocking shots, a key indicator of their activity defensively.
Something else they've done right so far from the get-go tonight is run. I mean, so much of their offense has come off the fast break.
Felton dishes to Hibbert. Outside for Felton. Second shot opportunity. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that. And it's a 3-point Knicks lead. The Raptors have gone 50% from the floor in the second quarter, 3 of 6. Augustine from outside gets it to go. Augustine's got 11 points.
And, you know, for Raptors coach Dwayne Casey from last season, he's wanted to improve the rim protection inside. Now with a little more size, you add Valanciunas, and hopefully the pieces are in place for Casey to build a winning team in Toronto.
A large part of what they've been able to do here is centered around his offense.
A good night for Augustine. He's got 11 points, and from long range, he's hit 1 3-pointer.
Yeah, and you'd expect by the end of this game, I'm sure the numbers are going to look even better.
So for the Knicks, Kyle O'Quinn comes in for Roy Hibbert, and it's Martin in for Tyson Chandler. New York's gone 1 of 2 on 3-pointers here in the second quarter so far. Felton attacking. Tries again, and O'Quinn kicks to Felton over Gay, and it's Toronto with the rebound. DeRozan's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Here's Felton. Great touch on the 16-footer. Felton's got 29. And when you look at this Raptors team, they have size and athleticism, Steve, certainly capable of defending well.
Yeah, they do have the talent to be good defensively. Some length on the perimeter. I think Valanciunas is an interesting player with defensive capabilities. So this is a club that has the potential to be pretty good at that end of the floor.
He has really punished these defenders today. No matter who's been on him, he's been giving them medicine.
Shot's good. Augustine's got 13 points in just this quarter.
What a quarter for him at the offensive end. He's ignored the scoreboard and continued to go out there and do his thing. Now let's see if that triggers another explosion. Remember, he hit 3 3-pointers in the first quarter.
Well, you know, there was a time, guys, when the Raptors were one of the top offenses in the league. They just couldn't defend. And then it would switch around. 11-12, they became a much better defensive team and couldn't score. Last season, they kind of leveled out on both sides of the ball.
Offensive rebound. Outside for Felton. The second chance effort. And a big bounce off the rim, but it sinks right in. Felton's got 36.
You know, he started out hot, and he's only gotten hotter. He could be in for one of those games.
And back to the Raptors, Clark. What you describe sounds like a team really in search of an identity. Steve, you see that as well?
Yeah, I think so, Kevin. I mean, this is a club that has the length and athleticism to be disruptive defensively. That's where they really need to focus, and I think that's where Dwayne Casey will really try to make improvement this year.
And the Raptors with some changes. Hansbrough comes in for Jonas Valanciunas, and it's Lowry in for Augustine.
That's some more rugged play from them inside. They have a decent edge in rebounds thus far.
And that hard work on the boards needs to continue. That could be what swings this game eventually.
You know, they had the lead, but then got careless and gave up 10 points off turnovers.
And that's changed the complexion of this game in a hurry. Now they're playing catch-up out there.
And Toronto making a change here. Valanciunas is checked in.
Really hard to find fault with anything he's doing this quarter, at least at the offensive end.
That's good.
And he's made the most of his chances, hasn't he? He really needs to continue to work for those good looks.
Here's McGrady, rejected by DeRozan. Fast break Toronto. Lowry leading the charge. That's good. And now just a 3-point New York lead.
You know, he's knocking down his shots today, but it hasn't really translated to the scoreboard yet.
Felton with the ball. He has 38 in the game. Shoots it. There's the block. Tries to save it. They get it back. He got it up. Phenomenal
Yes,
buzzer
sir.
beater.
You gotta love seeing nothing but zeros on the clock when that ball tickles the twine.
Oh, man, a clutch shot.
Second quarter ends in a tight one. It's the Knicks. They lead by 5. And coming up after the break, it'll be Damon Bruce breaking down all the highlights from the first half of play.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
It's Thursday night in the NBA, and from the 2K Sports Studios, this is the Halftime Report.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And welcome back to New York City as we look at an enchanting view of Lady Liberty.
Talk about being on his game. Look at the numbers for Felton. 40 points, and he's added to his numbers by hitting 4 shots from the three-point line.
Well, 12 points from long range, so the defense has to figure out a way to defend him a little differently. Try to get into his airspace.
Here's Gay, and another basket for Toronto.
And he's the type of player who, you know, when he gets it going, is almost impossible to cool down. Coaches will call a timeout sometimes just to take away some of the momentum that he provides for that club.
And something else that comes to mind with him is how many guys he's given the poster treatment to. I mean, flying high to power one down while the defender stands there looking for mercy. You know, after losing Jeremy Lin going into last season, guys, I think some fans were concerned that the team might slip back to isolation basketball and their offense would stagnate, but instead they flourished as a three-point shooting team.
So he gets the whistle, contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up. And back to the Knicks personnel moves, you got to give them a lot of credit going out and finding shooters and defenders and playmakers to surround their star players with.
Yeah, they ended up with Bargnani, putting him at the kind of the shooting 4 spot, adding another three-point threat. The Knicks are always going to be aggressive personnel-wise. This was already a good team, second best record in the East, but you know they're looking to get better.
James misses.
He still couldn't finish, even though it looked like he had a lane to the rim, but too often that's the story for him. Yeah, you can't make that kind of an error and expect to win.
You're right, Steve, because they will cost you. I mean, those kind of mistakes, those are losing plays.
And here's Felton from the arc. And the basket good. Felton has got 47 points.
He's doing it all for them right now on the offensive side. No matter what the defense has done, they haven't been able to find an answer to stop him, and he's had an answer for every defense he's seen.
Raptors trail by 10. Here's Lowry. Nice jump shot from the top of the key. Lowry's got 25 points in the game.
It's a good thing he showed up today because without him, this team would be in big trouble.
Rudy Gay is clearly a player with star potential, guys. He's got size, skill, elite athleticism. He's in his 8th season now, and he's looking to put it all together and make his first All-Star team.
Offensive rebound. Outside for Lowry. Valanciunas passes to Lowry. Drills it from outside. Lowry's got 5 points now in the quarter.
There you go. That's the stroke we saw in the first half.
Here's McGrady. Tried to come right back with the 3 of his own, but it's no good. And for Rudy Gay, a score, a terrific rebounder. He can do it all.
I think for him, it's the little things that will put him over the top. Just better shot selection, better focus defensively. But there's no doubt about it. He's one of the most talented players in the NBA, and that's why Toronto made the trade for him last year.
And the Raptors going out now with a whole new group. It's good with the assist that time from Johnson. Johnson's got his third assist on the night. Here's Udrich. And he was fouled in the act of shooting. Chance here now for a three-point play.
Very high-quality shot. Can't get enough of those. It wasn't a surprise that the Raptors struggled on the road. Most young teams do. They were 13-28 as the visiting team. They did end the year looking a lot more dangerous on the road than they started, though.
That's good. DeRozan's got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball.
He can be a forgotten man in their offense sometimes, but, the defense still needs to keep an eye on him.
Here's world peace. And right away, they match it with a three-pointer of their own. And the Knicks lead by 8. Well, Clark, you were talking about the Raptors' struggles on the road. They didn't have the best road record at the end of the season, as you said, but, Steve, they did show some bite with their play.
One of the interesting stats from the Raptors last year is they actually scored more points on the road than they did at home, and that rarely happens in the NBA. But I think the big thing with Toronto, their defense has to improve more than anything else.
Udrich dishes to Bargnani, and Udrich kicks to Hardaway. Kept alive. Here's Bynum. Uses the glass to finish the layup.
But the defense just looked a little lazy on the glass there.
Yeah, nobody boxing out. That's inexcusable.
Lowry inside the line, and they cash in right away with a quick shot. Lowry's got 32 points in the game. Time call here. The Knicks decide to talk it over. And Toronto will go for a different look here. Second half here. We're just over 3.5 minutes into it. Felton inside the three-point line. The shot goes down. Very quick possession right there. 1:12 left to play here in the third. Here's Lowry. And again, it's Toronto converting.
He has been fantastic this quarter, guys. It's just the kind of effort they need if they're going to continue to trim the lead.
And that one's good. McGrady. Raptors trail by 8. Lowry against Felton. And there's the call on Felton. That is his first foul of the game. Amir Johnson's checked in for Toronto. Here's Lowry. The shot goes in as the ref calls the blocking foul, and he's on his way to the free throw line.
They're not as aggressive from the outside here, but maybe they should think about stretching the defense a little bit, like they did in the first half. Stretching the defense makes it easier to score inside, too. A lot of high hopes for the Knicks in last year's playoffs. They started off so hot, but then let the series against Boston drag on, and eventually went to 7 games, and they fell to the Pacers in the second round after that.
Good. Felton has got 53.
Impeccable mechanics this quarter. He's been perfect from the field.
A 3 off the inbound, and there's Lowry. That's good on the assist by Johnson.
Good job creating just enough space to let that one fly.
And the Boston series did drag on him, you could tell. You wonder if they were a bit fatigued going into that Pacers series. Steve, Indiana just outplayed him, outworked him in every way in the second round.
Yeah, I think it was a factor, Kevin, and really the Knicks have only themselves to blame. They had Boston down 3-1 and a home game to close it out, but they couldn't get it done, and there's no doubt that affected them against Indiana in the next series.
On the wing, Tracy McGrady, defended by Valanciunas. Outside, Felton. It could go. Oh, and he just knocked down the